Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Avini Vibes. Welcome. We're very, very excited to be here this evening, as always. And today's July 3rd, 2025. Tomorrow's July 4th. We're going to be celebrating 249 years of our country. How beautiful is that? I hope you're all going to spend time in celebration with your family, friends, and of course, we're here to share Avini. Remember, we do not treat, we don't diagnose. We don't make any medical claims. We're here to learn. We're here to be educated, and we're here to learn about the most amazing products on the planet Earth. The great leadership, great company. I'm always so honored to be here and hosting this with Carol Witt and Chip and this whole gang. So many familiar faces. It's a great opportunity to be in the right place at the right time. So if you're a guest tonight, give us a thumbs up. If you are with us, has been involved with the business, you are very, very fortunate. So again, thank you for being here. And we're going to have a special guest tonight. Dave, Carol, and I have been started this a long time ago, and it started with about two or three. You know how the story goes. So Carol's going to look up the date, and it's taken us this long to get you. So I asked your son-in-law to track you down a while ago, and he helped me. And anyway, we're just so honored. Dave Johnson is someone who knows what it means to get things done and keep things real. Dave is a leader, a strategist. He's the kind of guy who cuts through the noise to help businesses move forward. With years of experience in direct marketing and a track record to the top money earners in not only Avini, but other companies for 30 years. So this is the guy that you really want to tune in and listen. Davis brings a grounded perspective and a sharp sense of actuality that works. I just so you know, I may mute. I am house sitting some friends' dogs and they bark a lot if you haven't noticed. So I'll go on mute and then come back in. But Dave, we want to welcome you tonight. Thank you. And we'd like to hear a little bit about your story, please. Welcome, Dave, all the way from Idaho, Boots Falls, Idaho.
Post Falls, Idaho. Well, pleased to be here. It's a pleasure. And I get to talk about one of my very favorite subjects, and that's Avini and just the possibilities that can give everyone that gets involved. And I think no matter how you engage with Avini, you're going to be better because of it. And it's something that originally I was searching because I had a problem. And I've been around health products pretty much my whole life. It turned into a wonderful career. I was with one company over 30 years, and the whole world of network marketing, mostly health products, is 49 years. So I'm just getting started though. But 7 years ago, I was with another company doing really well, but also a little frustrated because I was stuck, and that's not fun if trends and circumstances make it so you're not in a growth environment, especially if you've tasted that before. In the early 90s, I was searching for something new to do, and I found something that was just at the right place at the right time. And I'd had lots of practice from other companies, and so I knew exactly what to do, and just took off like crazy. And for many years, we just rode that wave, and it was such a joy. And I feel so blessed to be able to be in that exact position again with my all-time favorite product, the best comp plan, the best people. Everything is in place right at this moment in July 25. It's just so exciting. So to go back 7 years ago, um, being a little frustrated with my business, also after some ups and downs. Let's see, was that 2008? We had that real estate debacle. I pretty much had everything put in that, and and all when the dust all settled, we wound up working on paying off a $18 million Chapter 11, just all kinds of exciting things. And so we've tasted success. We've also the agony of defeat also. So but it's all good, and we can learn from it, and including the phone call I got 7 years ago, where my doctor found with some testing that I had some bad stuff going on in my prostate. And to come home with a folder and all this paperwork that talks about essentially a time bomb inside your body and you got to do something, that is not a fun thing. And a lot of people are getting those same kind of phone calls from their doctor. And myself, the standard of care, the side effects, I could say the entertainment value of going through those treatments wasn't a good option. And so I was really searching, praying, hoping, and I just made up my mind. I'm not going to go that route. And so I was doing some investigating, and my chiropractor referred me to a clinic down in Reno. I'd already sent my paperwork down there. It was going to cost about $50,000 with all everything to, including being there, for a few weeks with treatment and room and board and all that kind of stuff. And but I thought, a body. I've spent more than 50,000 for a vehicle, and your ultimate fun machine is your own body, that vehicle, and that would be a good investment to actually maybe get better without hurting myself. And so that sounded pretty good. But what if I could just fix it at home? What if I could just do some things at home? And that was what really got me excited, was being reacquainted with my friends Chip and Marcy Littlejohn, who we've known for about 30 years. And I found out that Marcy had even more dire circumstances, and she was the same thing, feeling of me. Without going into a lot of detail, she can tell her story, and you've probably heard it, but she basically, they told her she wouldn't be around in 2 months. She commented that one time she was looking in her uh, fridge and saw just a packet of meat, and the expiration date on it was longer than her expiration date. That would put things in perspective. And so when I heard what this product did for her, I just thought I'm going to do exactly what she did, and then some. I did quite a few different things, but I really think the thing that moved the needle the most is what we call cell defender. And Marcy invented something that's famously called the Marcy dose. And so we've got something, cell defender, my all-time very favorite product as far as making a difference personally. I just love this stuff, and it's so easy to use. You just go like that, and it says on the label, to this date, it says take 10 drops twice a day. And 20 years ago, the early version said take 10 drops twice a day. But Marcy had this idea that some is good, more is better, and too much is just right. And I think that's probably true with this right here. And so she just thought, I'm just going to keep everything completely filled to the tap, and just think that, wow, this is so good for the body. And here's the thing that's really fun is, we're not doctors. We're certainly not working with products that heal or cure or anything, but we can tell people, just do some research, get around, and you'll learn new words. Almost no one has heard of clinoptilolite. Some people have heard of zeolite, but then you start digging deeper in here, and you realize that this is something that's been around for hundreds of years. People have used it as an intestinal cleanser. And as an example, if you go on Amazon and start looking around clinoptilolite, you'll actually find a lot of stuff, powders and capsules and things like that. And you'll see rave reviews. But here's the thing, all of those products, it's just unrefined. It has benefit. But here's the thing that got Rick excited is years ago, when he was first searching this, he came across this study where a couple of guys got this idea to take clinoptilolite and introduce it to dogs through an IV. And some really amazing things happened. And he got thinking, well, wow, all up until this point, uh, clinoptilolite is just something that remains in the digestive tract because of the shape and size and how it behaves. What if you could get it into the bloodstream? So all of a sudden, these particles are moving up and down. Everywhere the blood is going, these little particles went, and marvelous things happen to the dogs. Could you do this without an IV? And the answer is clinoptilolite is actually, if you look at it, it's actually microscopic crystals, and the shape, the size, the dimension, the charge, all of these things give it a unique characteristics, and it selectively loves bad stuff, but it's not very interested in good stuff. And so the functional metals, zinc, magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, all of those things that are vital, it really doesn't have much interest in those, but lead, cadmium, arsenic, mercury, all the bad stuff that's really dangerous, it loves that. So selectively, what if you could actually make something? And this took him several years, but in the development, what he did is he was able to create clinoptilolite crystals. They're sub-micron in size. And so when you do what I just showed, like that, moments later, it just goes right into the bloodstream because it's small enough. In fact, one drop of this has a couple of 100,000 of these little zeolite particles that are clean. Well, I also found a way to empty the cages because clinoptilolite is actually a natural part of the Earth's crust, and the wind and the rain and everything carries it around. And all this stuff that we're concerned about, the pollution that's everywhere in the world, it just naturally sucks all of that up. And so if you had a dirty sponge and you're trying to clean your kitchen, versus a cleaned out sponge. And that's what this is. This is all cleaned out. And so it's hungrier and it's small enough so it enters the blood. And so what happened to me is I was using it, and in 3 weeks I was pretty anxious. And so I asked to have an MRI. And my doctor called really alarmed. And this is just 3 weeks of using this and other things. And she said, those five lesions, uh, they're quite a bit bigger than they were just 3 weeks ago when you were first diagnosed. And what are you doing? I called Chip all alarmed, and he says, "Oh, that's great, it's working." And I says, "What do you mean?" And he says, "Well, what the MRI is looking is the battlefield, and what you're seeing is a bunch of dead bodies, and they get big when they die." And so I called my doctor back, and she says, "Well, yeah, that sounds plausible." And so I felt really good, so I just carried on. Well, my kids, everybody's saying, "Have you been back to the doctor yet?" No, no, I haven't. And I'm thinking in my mind, the proof positive is to have a biopsy, the infamous prostate biopsy. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to do that. The needles that are that long, 12 of them, one at a time, and all this. But I finally thought, well, then I'll know for sure. So I went, and they stuck that thing up in me. And the thing that was really fascinating was there was some consternation because part of the probe is ultrasound, so they know where they're going and where to put those needles. He couldn't find anything, and so I thought, well, I'll pull it out and I'll be on my way. This is really exciting. He says, "No, I've got your paperwork here. You had something. I highly recommend we go ahead and do the procedure, and then we'll know for sure." Well, a couple of days later, he called. He says, "I got some great news. There's nothing there." And oh, jubilation. What a wonderful phone call. And I asked him, I says, "Would you like to know what I did?" He wasn't interested. However, Dr. Bob in Reno, about a month later, he called. He says, "Hey, I think we better get you scheduled here." And I says, "Well, I just had a biopsy and it's all gone." Well, he says, "Well, that's great news. Do you mind telling me what you did?" So he was interested. But at that point, I just thought I've got a new calling, and so for a couple of years I would share this with people that maybe this could be a better way for them also, but at that time there was no opportunity. That original company, it was broken, and maybe one of the reasons was it was Marcy's fault. She was making so much money that the owner got mad and says, "Nobody could make that much money. Nobody's worth that kind of money. I need to change the comp plan." Yeah, so anyway, he just started going thinking really weird, and finally at the point where he thought, I think I could make something good enough myself. Why pay Rick anything if I could make something good enough? And so I was right there when I saw the product change. When my shipment came in, I looked at the bottle. I could see something was wrong, and found it later on from Chip and Marcy that Rick was no longer there, and that this was, as a federal judge described, this is Deitch Light. It was very inferior, and so I'm just really concerned. Well, we could talk for quite a bit, and around about the circuitous journey. Eventually, just 3 years ago, uh, Rick finally decided to start his own company because this is something so important. It's in 20 years, a couple of different companies. It's gone around the world. Millions of bottles have been sold. It's helped countless people, and a lot of folks on this call, and we meet people that used it years ago, and it's just so thrilling that we've got the best version, and here we have an amazing opportunity. So what was a great adversity, a challenge for me, has turned into my encore career. And I just couldn't be more excited. And it's often that way where adversity has seeds of great benefit. And it's just wonderful. And so I've done this a few times. I can tell you that this is the right business. If you're in a business where you love helping people and being in your own driver's seat, where you can control the shots, decide how much you want to make, and all of those sorts of things, this is the place to be. I've never seen anything like this, and the timing's right, the market's immeasurable, the opportunity's yours. And so what we've got in place is something really unique. Every business has some type of product or service to justify having that business. And what would be the ideal business? Well, to me, the product would be something that really does make a difference, that's really profound in its benefit, where you really need it and it makes big difference. That would be neat. Another thing is I'd love to have a product that doesn't cost too much. What if all of the products were less than $100? And the other thing is when you get somebody excited about it and they use it, receive benefit, what'd be really cool is in order to use it, you eat it, and then you got to buy it again. And then what if you're driven with a really powerful auto ship so that doubly encourages people to buy it again and again? And then you incentivize it by adding to the idea that if you really believe in something, you're going to want to share it with other people. And so Avini harnesses that natural tendency that we all have. And so we want to share things with people that we love, that we believe in. What if you could drive that further by, hey, we'll pay you if you do that. And then we've got a really neat game plan where you can do it strategically. And then you have this multiplying effect where you can teach other people how to do that. And Avini pays you to do that. And they pay you to teach other people how to teach other people. So it just multiplies out. And then you have this thrill of working consistently, sharing this day after day, starts compounding. And any one of us, if you got half a personality, a good work ethic in this growth environment, you could positively affect the lives of thousands of people, make a really decent income, and essentially have time and money freedom, and the thrill that you're anxiously engaged in a great work. And I think one of the happiest things that you can do to just have joy is be growing something with a bunch of good people. So you're a team, you're part of another group of just real high quality people, and everybody's winning, and it's reinforced that you're making a difference by wonderful things happening every day. And then wow, the great joy is giving other people joy, and then just multiplying that. And so here we are. I could go on and on. Maybe we could just open it up to some Q&A.
Yeah, Dave, I love what you shared about all those things. And what I also appreciate about you is that you just it sounds so simple, and wow, it is so simple, right? If we could be effective, positively effective in thousands of lives, right? One tells one, Carol, Eddie, and I, right? We started with three people on this call, and now look, there's a bunch of people, and we're all doing remarkable things. Your life was saved. I met your family at the conference, and my goodness, what a blessing your family is. Somebody asked how many children you have. That was something I said, I think. How many do you have?
We have 11 kids. We were planning on six, and we uh, got carried away.
11 children, and your
And we
wife,
have 50,
Valerie,
50
is beautiful.
52 grandkids.
Oh my,
My God.
let's all say wow together.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you talked a little bit about Cell Defender. I'm going to open it up for questions, but I see a question that just came across my phone. Said, can you ask Dave, does he take the mushrooms? Does he like the mushrooms?
Okay, when I got involved 7 years ago, there actually was a mushroom formula that was an earlier version that Rick invented, and it had that magic stuff in it that is really good for you, Agaricus blazei, and mushrooms are so good for you. In fact, just in the Costco magazine, I was reading about medicinal mushrooms and I actually write in Costco, it says anti-cancer and all this other stuff. That's Costco magazine saying stuff like that. But if you actually research those mushrooms, that's the fun thing. All the stuff and the ingredients you can see all of these wonderful things in it. So I took the mushrooms too, and I still take them every day. All of the Avini products I take every day. And what one of the big things is you want to be your own best customer. If you wouldn't want to be thinking, hey, I want to tell you about these wonderful products, and they say, well, what have you noticed? It'd be really dumb to say, well, I don't use them. I just want to sell it to you. That just sounds stupid, and it is. You got to find something that you personally are excited about, and then it's really not sales. It's just sharing, and we've all done that before.
What do you say to the person that says, I don't feel anything? I had someone say that to me today, and I said to them, well, you can't feel toxins and heavy metals going in your body either, can you?
I tell people that when I got diagnosed, I never felt anything. I couldn't tell anything. The doctor, the testing showed I had something. I got on the cell defender. I didn't notice anything. The MRI showed some stuff happening in a few weeks. I definitely felt the biopsy, but all the way along, I never felt anything. I never felt him come. I never felt him go. I never noticed anything. I've got other friends. I know people that have noticed profound differences. But to me, in my mind, I look at us as body burden toxins. In my mind, I think the camel. We're all camels, and the straw that broke the camel's back. Well, if we live on Earth, we have a burden on our back, and occasionally you'll look and see camels some straw on our backs with some burden. And this is actually proven, and you can actually do testing if you want to, and it does remove that burden. And it's marvelous how we're wonderfully created, where we have a capacity to undergo the burdens that we have. Go to a grocery store, and you're going to look at people's grocery carts, and some of those people don't even have food in their carts. It's highly processed uh, counterfeit food. I think how could somebody live on that? If you gave it to a dog, it'd kill them. But somehow we're made so we can kind of cope with that. But then also it's just a fact that we're inundated with all these toxins. So we have all this stuff. It's a less than optimal environment. And so we've got really neat stuff that takes out the bad, and we've got really neat stuff that adds the good that we're probably not getting optimal amounts of that. And so I look in my mind, I think if you fundamentally think of our body as this magnificent colony of 30 to 40 trillion cells, if each of those cells was healthy, you could not be sick. How do you have healthy cells? You give them everything they need and don't give them what they don't need. And so what do we do to give healthy cells? Well, we should get a good night's rest. We should drink lots of pure, clean water. We should have adequate nutrition, and don't use vitamin pills to substitute a bad diet. All that stuff, and we really need to get the bad stuff out because we live on Earth. The answer would be, how long should I take this? Well, if you could take it for a couple of months and then move to the Garden of Eden, that would probably be just fine. But we come right back out into the real world with all of this stuff. And so this is something you want to just continually use. And so many things. I think in my mind, okay, you got a nice car, as an analogy, you got this wonderful vehicle, you're going to take care of it. You're going to do the scheduled maintenance and everything. But when you go in and get everything serviced and you're driving home uh, with brand new oil, all the new fluids are just brand new, you probably don't notice anything. But if you skip, eventually you will. And that's how I look at this stuff right here. Is day to day, you might not notice anything. It's just like McDonald's. We've probably seen that documentary Super Size Me. If you just do McDonald's one time, you're not going to fall over with a heart attack. But if you try what that guy did, where every single meal is McDonald's and yes, supersize me, it took only 30 days for some scary stuff to happen. And in fact, it was so scary, I can't remember the details, but there was actually some people that said that can't be true. And so they duplicated that with some volunteer college students. And yeah, it's true. It messed them all up. They recommended we better not carry it out for the full 30 days. And so this is just and a lot of people we don't really have a good sense on our feedback and everything. And so if you don't feel anything, I believe over time you will feel a difference. And so it just if this stuff is proven, the stuff works. The supplements that we have, there's goodies in there that optimize the amount of stuff that should be in there. And so and we're just looking for people that are looking for this kind of stuff. There's some people that could care less and they don't worry about it. Everybody should, but we're just looking for people who are looking for us.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, I'd like to open it up for question. If you want to raise your hand, we can do it that way. If you'd like, anybody have a question for Dave, feel free to unmute yourself. And Carol, you watch the screen.
I'm
We got a lot of
looking,
people
but
on here. We got triple
uh-huh.
screens. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of people tonight, which is awesome.
I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Okay, that's good.
Huh?
He's answering all the questions, that means. Chip, Chip's going to come on right now and chat a little bit with us as well. Thank you, Chip, for being with us tonight. I don't believe Eddie made it, so I'm going to have Chip join us for a few minutes.
Okay, well, I wish you guys could have my brain hooked up to some sort of a gadget that lights up whenever I get an idea. Um, I've always loved listening to Dave. He's a month and a week older than I am. We're both 75 now because I caught up to him a few days ago, and it's amazing what he did with that 5 weeks. He got way out ahead of me. But if you listen to him, he started out with his story, but when he had a chance to start working with you, he went to personal development. Why would you make a decision? Why is this important? Why is it worth your time? And if you are around him or you go to the places where he speaks on every Saturday morning, the guests that he chooses and the things he provides to us on Tuesday mornings on the regular weekday calls, a lot of it is personal development. And one of the things that resonates, and I love, there used to be a guy that we worked with named Vince Speaer, and he was almost verbatim the same every time. Dennis Williams, almost verbatim the same every time. And somebody asked him one time, "What do you do the same every time?" He says, "Because the audience is new every time." And so if you're there and your people are there, you kind of know what's coming, and you're on the edge of your seat wanting them to hear what Dave's about to say, or what Vince was about to say, or what Dennis was about to say. And so I know what happens to people when they listen to Dave Johnson. They make bigger decisions. They realize how important it is. And a little answer to the question you had a minute ago, I can't feel anything. I do spend a lot of time working on languaging. And I used to drive all around, mostly the Western United States, but all over. Mars and I had a couple of motorhomes, and we went on the road, working in a company where Dave was one of the people that we were learning from. And I remember working in my mind, trying to think if I got called on, and we had a deal we called Team Diamond, and maybe Mars and I'd get 2 or 3 minutes to speak. And I always wanted her to speak first because she's the smart one. But if I got 10 or 15 seconds, my goal was to be able to say something that would be of great value to everybody in the audience, and that would make my buddy Dave think that I've been preparing. And so here's the answer I have prepared for that question. I don't feel anything. Well, you start out with, that's great. What happened when Dave said, oh, I just went and got, all these scans done and they're all 2 or 3 times as big. Oh, that's great. And then, well, why? But you better be right. You don't dare do stuff like that in a world like this and offer false hope. So you better be right. So here's the answer to the question, I don't feel anything. A lot of people don't. Matter of fact, a lot of times when people are getting harmed, they think they feel better. Think about people on alcohol or drugs. They're actually being harmed and they think they feel better. But that's not it. The answer is, I don't feel anything. Well, then you have to apply your intellect. Well, how many people are going to say, I'm sorry, I don't have an intellect? Do you see the little thing there? You just have to go back to, why are we doing this in the first place? What did we set out to do? The concept was that we're seeking the absence of poisons. That can't be wrong. Having them leave you may not be a dramatic effect in a short time, but over a longer period of time, you will be replacing yourself more frequently and more accurately. So the absence of poisons and the absence of genetic errors can't be wrong. Whether you feel it or not, that can't be wrong. So, can I make a recommendation? Let's continue down this path and see what happens. And that, I tell you what, that works great. It works great when somebody says, I don't feel anything. Great. That's all right. Thank goodness. Some people feel great. Some people feel this way. But if you feel nothing, then you have to apply your intellect. You have to go back, remember how you thought this through, why you did it, what you're after, and go get it. You see how well that works and how quick? So that's just an example. I do remember, and Dave is one of thousands and thousands of men that have called me in prostate troubles. But, and I remember many of them. They teach. If you take a second, okay, well, tell me the situation. What's the best thing you've found so far? What parts of the problem are still there? Well, let's go to work on that. I remember this concept talking to Dave. And I think I said these exact words. Sorry. And of course, I didn't want to lose my buddy. And I remember saying, if you and I put our heads together, we can outsmart this thing. And that's exactly what we did.
Thank you, Chip.
Ooh.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you for doing that.
Powerful. Woo.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Listen, you two have been on a long journey together, and thank you for being so courageous, the both of you, and putting your heads together and staying focused on helping others, not only yourselves. But Dave, I'd like to just give you the opportunity to give us some closing remarks and some wisdom, please. Thank you, Chip, for sharing that wisdom. Dave, if
I
you
wanted
mind.
Dave to say something about his neighbor on the same block that went the other way.
Oh.
Just one more thing to what happens, because it's inhumane, it's barbaric what we do to men that have these problems today.
Well, it just happened. I had a neighbor down the street, and he got diagnosed, and he was finishing up treatment right when I got diagnosed and was going into the ordeal. And one of the things that I saw was him just deteriorating, and it ravished him. He started shuffling around like an old man, and you could just see how he had aged. and then also having to go in to get those treatments done. If it was just a matter of time, driving to the hospital and the time involved, but also it wasn't fun. And all of that all combined, one of the things when we were both all done and reflecting, uh, he asked how much my stuff costs, and he made the comment. He says, I spent more on copay than you spent on your drops and stuff like that. And I just thought, oh my goodness, wow, just yes, I dodged a bullet. It was really a great blessing, and so I guess I would just say, my goodness, I think all of us are just wonderfully gifted with marvelous capacity that we don't know how good we are. And I think that's one of the big things. Zig Ziglar said something that really stuck in my mind. He says, there really isn't such a thing as a lazy person. He says they're just uninspired in the proper context. That person, maybe they don't like their job and watching the clock, but if it's deer hunting time, they're up at 4:30, getting all excited and going traipsing up and down the mountains all over, lots of energy because, well, they like that. Well, if you could find something that you could be absolutely enthralled with, and that's what I love about Avini, is here's your chance, any one of us, where you could be thinking, how good am I? I wonder how fast I could run as if I ran as fast as I could. And that's what I'd recommend right now is we're in place. We've been doing this a few years. I look like if the great starship Avini. So far we've gone on some test cruises. So far we've just done impulse power. Uh, the warp drive is fully operational, and we can boldly really go. And why not be a part of this? Why not instead of just kind of coasting along, dabbling? What if you actually made a couple more calls every day? What if you actually thought, okay, I'm not going to hold back. You will feel so good if you work really hard and go to bed tired and doing work that really matters. It's just a thrill, and so much of it is just the magic of the numbers. And I've had some people. It's really sad. They'll say, "Well, I tried it, and I guess it's not for me." And I say, "Well, how many people did you talk to?" And maybe, oh, I talked to 5 different people, and nobody's interested. And I think of that Jim Rohn, of the famous talk, How to Build a Network Marketing Business. And he talks about typically when you're brand new, you're going to get maybe 1 out of 10. And so, wow, give yourself that chance. So if you're average and you're 1 out of 10 and you've only talked to 5 people, well, chances are you haven't found that 1 out of 10. So the big thing I would tell people is just do it and do it and do it so that you can get a ratio, and you might find out it's better than 1 out of 10, maybe 2 out of 10. I'm really not that good. I think I'm maybe 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. If I was taking my final in college and got 3 out of 10, that's an F. That's a low F. But in Avini, you could get rich getting 3 out of 10. Maybe not 3 out of 10, but you could. How about if you got 30 out of 100, or if you got 300 out of 1,000? If you did that, 300 out of 1,000. So all it is just give yourself enough time, and as you do it and do it, you get better at it, you get more proficient, and also the magic of the numbers allows it to happen. And so essentially what it is just consistency over time, learning to tell the story. That's the magic. You get paid by your voice. Well, also your heart. You love people, care about them, and then just think everybody deserves to hear about this. My job is to get people curious enough to look at what we have. If I could turn people into Rick Deitch binge watchers, that's it. And let him do the sales. And so all I do is do tools. That's what I've done for 50 years almost, is start out with cassette tapes, and now it's just shareables that are no cost and instantaneously. You can text or email a link, and they can be watching something or listening to something, and it could be so simple as, hey, do you like to listen to podcasts? Yeah, I do. Hey, I've got something I want to send you. and then just send it to them. One of my things I think is just real magical is a lot of people have time in a car, they're driving by themselves, and that happens regularly. What if all of a sudden they're driving along and they hear this nice, friendly voice telling a story? uh, it's irresistible. It just sinks into your brain really easy. They're hearing a story, and then they I wonder, and then you give them another one and another one. They start using the product. They start sharing. Then it just multiplies out, and you just do it and do it and do it again and again, and that success becomes inevitable. So we're in a good place. Bet on yourself. Decide to be really, really good at sharing the story.
Thank you, Dave. I love it. Bet on yourself. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful. You're just really a very amazing man. I love to listen to you on Saturday mornings and learn from you. And you rise to the top because, like you said, you just keep doing it and you don't quit. And that's the key. Just share. I had somebody tonight tell me they couldn't come and they're too busy and on, but I didn't get discouraged. I just said, somebody's asking for this. Somebody's on their knees praying for this. And we got to be the ones to tell them. So maybe you're not showing up tonight, but tell them. And they showed up tonight. So that's what it's about. Listen,
Absolutely.
everyone, God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful 4th of July tomorrow. Dave, we'll see you in Las Vegas. You're going to be teaching again there. We're blessed. The company offers so many opportunities for us to continue to learn. You do Tuesdays, 11 o'clock every day. There's somebody teaching. So it's an awesome opportunity for all of us to continue to grow and help one another grow. So God bless you. Dave Johnson, thank you. Say hello to Valerie and your family and everyone. Have a wonderful 4th of July. We'll see you next week, okay?
Bye,
Betcha.
everyone. Thank you,
Sure.
Dave. Thank
Uh-huh.
you.
Bye.
Bye now.
Be safe.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.